From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
And there's SportsLine on your television. Steve Layman here with you. Glad you are here with us on this Monday night on News Channel 5 Plus. So many things that we can talk about. It is a massive week here in Nashville. You have the Predators trying to bounce back tomorrow night against one of the best teams in the league. That's actually down in Florida, but they try to snap the longest losing streak of the season at 4 games against the Panthers. Then Thursday night, you have Pekka Rinne having his jersey number retired at Bridgestone Arena. He'll become the first Predator to have that honor. Certainly well-deserved. Got a chance to catch up with Pekka earlier today. It is always a pleasure to deal with him, one of the classiest people in all of professional sports, and certainly the most important Predator of all time. And then you have the Stadium Series game, first ever outdoor game here in Nashville, coming up on Saturday as the Preds take on the Tampa Bay Lightning, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Lightning, at 6:30 over at Nissan Stadium. Big college basketball on tap. Vanderbilt tomorrow night against number 24 Alabama at Memorial Gym as the Commodores look for a 5th consecutive home win. Tennessee will look to bounce back and prevent having back-to-back losses for the first time this year. The Vols had their 8-game conference winning streak snapped with a loss at Arkansas on Saturday. Now they go on the road to Missouri tomorrow night to try to bounce back. And we can talk some Middle Tennessee basketball as well. The Blue Raiders just beating UTEP convincingly down in the Borough tonight. And they have now won 11 of their last 12, including 6 in a row, to sit on top of the East Division in Conference USA. So congrats to Nick McDevitt and that Middle Tennessee basketball team for continuing to turn things around. So much to get to here on the program. And I want to start with the Preds, and specifically, let's start with Pekka Rinne, because when you look at him and this honor coming up on Thursday night, there is no more deserving player in the history of the Predators. In 20-plus years, he has been the masked face of the franchise, without a question. He was really the first star of this team before they even kind of took hold. He was the guy that ultimately made them competitive and helped them win in the playoffs. And then he was the guy who stood on his head during the Predators' most impressive playoff run, most memorable postseason appearance, and then when they followed it up with the best regular season that they've ever had, winning the President's Trophy. Pekka Rinne was at his absolute best during that period of time, when the Predators became on everybody's radar, not just here in Nashville, but around the National Hockey League and really around the globe. He's the winningest goaltender in team history. He's the winningest Finnish goaltender of all time with 369 wins. He's a 4-time All-Star selection, including an appearance at the game right here in Nashville when it was held here several years ago. Had the Predators won in 2017, he would have been the Conn Smythe winner as MVP of the playoffs. He helped them win the only conference championship in team history. He helped them win the President's Trophy. He helped them win the only 2 division titles the Predators have ever had. When you look at the banners that are up in the rafters at Bridgestone Arena, I think there's 6, although they get a little confusing because they come over the same years in a lot of time. All of them point back to Pekka Rinne as the star of that team. The popularity of this team, the belief in the Predators organization, the thought that they can be a contender. It all starts from Pekka Rinne. They were a nothing expansion team before Pekka Rinne showed up. They became a contender because of Pekka Rinne. They became a consistent playoff team, one of the centerpieces of the postseason, because of Pekka Rinne. The only thing missing was actually winning that Stanley Cup. He won the Vezina Trophy as the best goaltender in the league. He got to a Stanley Cup final. He was multi-time All-Star. Pekka Rinne did it all. And not just was he the face of the team on the ice, but he was really the face of the team in the community as well. He has great partnerships with the Best Buddies program that started with the Predators' very first coach, Barry Trotz, and his great involvement with that organization. And Pekka also did an incredible amount of work with Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital, the Pediatric 365 Fund that the Predators are so involved with. Pekka Rinne was the face of that. Other guys did great things. PK Subban, Shea Weber, Mike Fisher. And you can go on and on down the list. There are a lot of Predators who have been philanthropic in this community. But Pekka Rinne's longevity as the star of the team and a guy willing to give of his time, his efforts, and his money in the community truly make him an all-time fan favorite. I don't know if you will find anyone more beloved around the Predators organization than Pekka Rinne. I mean, fans loved Mike Fisher. They loved PK Subban. They love Philip Forsberg and Roman Josi right now. But when you think of the Predators and you think the long-term health of the team and who the fans most adore, it's Pekka Rinne. And there are so many moments that you will just never forget Pekka being on the ice. The first ever playoff series victory back in 2011, knocking down the door against the hated Red Wings in 2012, standing on his head to get them back to the playoffs in Peter Laviolette's first year. The frustration he had at the Game 7 loss in 2016 in San Jose in the second round of the playoffs, furthest the team had ever been, chance to knock on the door of the Western Conference Final, and the guys in front of him let him down that night. And Pekka was ultimately pulled. And you saw all of the emotion and all of the efforts and everything come out in that moment. And then he bounces back the next season with a performance for the ages. The back-to-back shutouts against the Blackhawks in the first round of the playoffs as the Preds swept out the top seed in round one. His efforts against St. Louis as the Preds got past or further than they'd ever been before in the playoffs in round two. Him standing on his head again in the Western Conference Final when a team plagued by injuries. You wonder how they'd even be able to suit up against the Ducks at times. And Pekka Rinne got them through. And then after losing the first two games of the Stanley Cup Final, I'm not sure I've ever heard a pregame introduction louder than Pekka Rinne in goal before Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. And he went out and delivered a gem in back-to-back games to get the Preds back even in that series. And after a disappointing Game 5 in Pittsburgh, he was near perfect in Game 6. Preds ultimately lost 1-0 in the closing 90 seconds of Game 6 of that Stanley Cup Final, coming up 2 wins shy of the ultimate prize. And from that disappointment, he comes back and wins the Vezina Trophy next year, leading the team to the President's Trophy. And then another division title after that. Pekka Rinne, the moments stand out with him. There were so many to remember. And maybe the one that people will never, ever forget is last year at the end, at 38 years of age, when UC Saros was playing like a Vezina Trophy contender himself. Pekka got the final start of the regular season. And in his last NHL appearance, he was vintage Pekka. 30 saves in a shutout against Carolina, and the Preds win that final game. And Pekka was pushed by his teammates to take a victory lap around the ice at Bridgestone Arena with the spotlight on him, the ultimate team guy who never wanted that. He just wanted to win with his team, took that victory lap and soaked it all in with a crowd that was as big as we saw last year because of the COVID restrictions, every single one of them on their feet. And he took that moment in. And that ultimately was Pekka Rinne's final game on the ice in the National Hockey League. And it was a fitting end to an absolutely magical career. And there is no question that he deserves to be the first number and the first jersey to hang in the rafters in Smashville, next to all those banners that he helped the Predators win here in recent years, because Pekka Rinne has had more to do with that and the success of this franchise than any player or any individual in the history of the team. Love to welcome in your thoughts on Pekka or anything else. 737-7767, the number. And we begin tonight with Antonio. Antonio, what's going on? Hey, Antonio, you there? See if we can get him back on hold. We'll try that again. Right now, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into some of the Stadium Series discussion, continuing some of the Preds talk. We got basketball on the way here tonight as well. We'll get to all that and more when we come back. Plus more of your phone calls, 737-7767, the number. This is SportsLine on News Channel 5+.